Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Expat Conversations with Michael Nolen. I want to say thank you very much for listening in today. Expat Conversations is a outreach of the University of Guadalajara Institute of Innovation, Investigation, and Governance, which is headed up by Dr. Marco Antonio Cortez Gradado. I want to say thank you to the university and Dr. Gradado for allowing us to have this program. Also want to say thank you to the Monte Carlo Hotel here in the beautiful city of Chapala, Mexico, for allowing us to film all of our shows here at the Hotel and Resort Monte Carlo. So thank you very much. Today we have a roundtable, a very, very interesting kind of three-part conversation. And I'm first of all going to introduce Aurora Michelle, who has been on the show once before, several months ago.
Yes,
she's with the City of Chapala, municipality of the City of Chapala. She's the outreach coordinator for the expats.
Correct.
So thank you very much for coming back and being on the show again.
Thank
and
you.
Please, would you go around and introduce everyone, and we'll get into our conversation.
Certainly. Well, thank you very much for inviting me again. And we are today very honored to have with us a very special program that we have been planning for so many years, and now it's about to come true. The Sister City program. This is an international program that is a friendship and cooperation of, they will tell you more about it, of all the towns or the cities around the world. And I would like you to meet Angeles Villanueva. You know, they are three beautiful sisters, and I always think of Blanca and Esperanza, and then Angeles. But Angeles is a very close friend, and she's from Chapala, and she's willing to help in being the president of the Sister City program here in Chapala. And then we have Mr. David Angelo, who represents, he's coming from California. He represents the city of Downey, and also is part of the committee for Pico Rivera. And we have Mr. Fernando Centeno, who is the president of Pico Rivera's Sister City program. And we welcome you to be here, this program. Thank you, Michael, because I would like everybody to know what is this about.
Now, does Chapala have any other sister cities that they've been working with for years before in Canada, the United States, or is this the first sister city?
Well, actually, that is true. There were other programs that I know. In fact, one with Xinji or something like that, a Chinese town. But since there was not the legal framework to continue and preserve this program, because the Sister City programs last forever.
Well, I know when I was in Puerto Vallarta, there were like 8 or 9 sister cities, because a lot of the people from around the world wanted to come to Puerto Vallarta for vacation on official business, and so they had quite a few. But it's a great, great program, and welcome, gentlemen. You're both from Southern California?
That's correct.
And you're from where exactly?
Pico Rivera, which is probably 20 miles outside of Los Angeles.
To the east.
That's
to
correct.
the east. There's not much to the west of Los Angeles.
No.
A couple of islands.
Yes.
And are you from the same city?
I'm also from Pico Rivera, the same city. And I have a little background on the Sister City program. And to answer one of your questions about previously, Chapala did have a sister city, but it was with the city of Tustin in California. Okay, but that didn't last too long because it was not a real people-to-people project, and that's kind of why I'm here to make sure that this new association that we have with Chapala is governed by the people, and we talked about lasting time frames together. The way to do it is by getting people involved. Ajijic once had a sister city in Studio City. And there was a relationship there, and it was a beautiful, beautiful relationship, but sometimes we get persons that put in a lot of effort and many years, and the years go by and catches up with us. So a lot of them no longer exist. So the committees don't continue. But I am a director with the U.S.-Mexico Sister City Association. And I've been involved with sister cities for over 35 years.
Wow.
Yes. And in fact, my beginnings, you can almost say, started here under that big tree here in this hotel, where I heard a singing group called Voces de Chapala. They were I was here on a sister city convention held in Guadalajara, but they brought us up here to have lunch. And that's when I heard for the first time this group, Voces de Chapala. I fell in love with their music, and just to make a short, a long story short, because I know my wife doesn't like me to repeat it, but one of the girls ended up being my wife.
Man, that's
All right. Okay. So and that kind of brought me. That introduced me to Chapala, because she's here from Chapala. So I've always had this. Well, I had this introduction to Chapala, and I consider it one of the best places in the world.
So do a lot of other expats. That's why they're all down here.
Yes, yes. But anyway, getting back to the program, we have established a sister city committee or group, association in Pico Rivera, headed by Fernando. He's our first president. And Angeles Villanueva, she's the first president here in Chapala. And that's the main reason me and Fernando are here, is to begin to introduce each other, because that's the way you start in a relationship. You get to know each other, you're going to get to know what their likes are. It's almost like the beginning of a marriage. You start off with an engagement. So that's what we intend to do, but we have a great start, because Fernando's here, and he's beginning to realize Chapala, what it's all about. And I myself have already built a house here, and I could tell you a little bit about that house, but I won't go into that yet, because we talk more about the program.
But Pico Rivera, that's a town. How large of a town is it?
So the city is probably approximately a little bit over 300,000 residents.
That's about the size of Puerto Vallarta area.
Which is what we call a medium-sized city.
Yeah.
Right. And we're, like I said, we're about 20 miles outside of Los Angeles. It's 90% Hispanic. So we have a big
Who's
Hispanic.
the town named after?
Pico, which is the Pio Pico, which was the last governor of Mexico.
Of California.
Of California, I'm sorry.
California.
From Mexico.
Before 1849, when California was under the jurisdiction of Mexico.
That's correct.
When it was, all the way up to San Francisco was part of Mexico.
Right.
Don't forget Zorro. Zorro was around.
Zorro.
He's my hero. Zorro.
Zorro.
Okay.
Zorro with a
I do know that Zorro in Spanish means fox. 'Cause I have a friend named
Zorro.
John Fox, and we all used to call him Juan Jose Zorro. And he always looked at us.
But the city of Pico Rivera is, it's very traditional. So the part of our point of sister cities is to bring us back to our roots, right? So that's part of it. Is we have big Hispanic Mexican roots in the city of Pico Rivera, which include Chapala. And so we want to make sure that those cities and those roots are never disconnected. They're always together. Part of our goal is, we start off as friends. We come together as friendship. But we end up leaving as family, and that's very important to us.
Very good.
Well, family is very, very important to the Mexican culture.
Yes.
I mean, it's just it's just interwoven in your daily life. What do sister cities do? How do they help each other? Do they help each other with like municipal planning? Do they help each other with like charities? Do they help each other with
Donations.
cultural donations.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sister cities, the main reason I like it and I continue to participate in it because sister cities, they open doors for you, okay? And how does that begin? With the initial getting to know of a culture, of an interest, getting to know what one can learn from one another. And one thing that I continuously learned from Chapala is the hospitality of what people present. And I thrive to take that kind of know-how back to Pico Rivera. Because Pico Rivera, like Fernando said, almost 90% Hispanic, but it's been around for now 3 or 4 generations that separates the people there from Mexico, and they're losing a lot of the cultural, awareness and cultural social ways of doing things that you find here in Mexico, and including more than any place else, Chapala, and that's one thing that I hope to bring. A lot of the politicians tell me, what does Sister City, what can they do for us? And we're not going to bring in a lot of money all of a sudden. We're not going to create partnerships where you can make trades and stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on individuals, those persons that come and take the step of visiting cities, and not only Chapala but throughout Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
They can go back and spread what they have learned with their family, and things can grow from there. So something that the benefit that we have towards cities is that we're taking something back, but at an individual basis and a people-to-people basis. So that's one of the beauties that the Sister City program has.
Michael, I would like David to tell us what was the origin of the Sister City program.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's a worldwide deal. I know that when I lived in the United States, we had in Oklahoma several towns have 2 or 3 or 4 different sister cities. I never really got involved in it, but they were always at festivals and things like that. And I remember even in Puerto Vallarta when I was living there for 5 years, we'd always have groups of different entertainers or cultural type people come to have festivals. And it was very, very interesting. You got to learn about different parts of the world.
It's part of sharing our cultures.
Well, that's
right?
true.
That's right. Sister City's origin began way back in 1956 when President Eisenhower, those of you that don't know the history of President Eisenhower, but he was the main general during World War II. He knows what war is about. He has seen it and seen what he has learned is that wars do not bring peace. And in 56, he brought a group together, people from all over the country, businessmen, educators, just regular citizens who had something to contribute. And he said, politicians aren't bringing us peace. Like I mentioned, wars aren't bringing us peace. People want peace. How can we achieve peace? And his idea was, what if we take one city and they make friends with another city around the world and create this relationship, become friends, so you don't want to kill each other, so you want to help and work with each other. That's what I'm looking forward to do, and that's what got established as Sister Cities.
It's kind of like the United Nations for cultural events and things like that.
Mm-hmm. But it's at a people-to-people level,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I have friends in other Mexican cities. We've been involved with San Luis Potosí, another city hereby. 54 years now we've been together, and it's because of the people, committees that evolved. When I got into it, there was I worked with a community of believers, and now I'm working with their children.
Wow.
And I can go back, and the biggest problem I have when I go to San Luis Potosí is that everybody wants to house me. I got to figure out who do I stay with, you know, and I don't want to hurt feelings. But
Well, it just means you've made a lot of great connections and good friends.
yes,
And,
yes, and I'm very grateful to that, and I look forward to seeing them and receiving them at my house. But that's kind of the way sister cities work. And you're right, that program has expanded. There are hundreds and hundreds of sister city relationships going, thousands of people involved right now. So President Eisenhower's dream of creating a system to spread peace around the world, it's starting to work. We were very disappointed during this Ukrainian war, but we got a notice from Sister Cities International, which is the main group that is headed at Washington D.C.
Mhm.
We got a memo saying, do not disband your relationship with sister cities that you have in Russia, because that's one way in which we could maybe bring people to the negotiation table. So you just stay put and let's see what happens.
It's kind of like Rotary International. I've had several Rotary groups, and they're a very, very great organization that really do a lot of helping of a
Yes.
lot of different charities.
Yes.
And they're involved, they've got their kind of fingers in every kind of pie you can think about, but they do
Right.
great. And sister cities do a lot the same.
Yes, and in order to preserve that longevity of an organization, we have to be legally established and follow certain protocols so that in a year or 2 or 3, everything is gone. I wouldn't like that. I would like to see this organization be here forever, and luckily we have a very knowledgeable lady who she's a lawyer, and she wants us to do everything very thoroughly. and Angeles will be a wonderful first president.
Is she an attorney from the University of Guadalajara?
Yes, I do.
Definitely.
That's my home.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
We always love when our alumni come back and be on the program.
Oh,
So, although I'm not an alumni, my wife is. She's been a doctor at the University of Guadalajara for 32 years.
wow.
Wow.
I am
She started when she was 3.
good. Yeah, this is
Just out of
this is
trouble.
My house as well, the university. I'm very proud and thankful for the invitation, David and Mrs. Aurora, and also to the president Alejandro, because he's really making this program to happen after 30 plus years that David has been
That's
trying
great.
to. So yes, I am very thankful and honored to be here. Hopefully we can achieve a lot of things we need a lot of organizations actually, they are very interested, and we're trying to gather as much people with this input to help the society, and yes, I think this is going to be it. Probably next year, we are going to
What-
be ready.
How can the expats that are listening to the show be involved? Are you going to have like social functions to introduce each other, or I don't know? Just how can they be involved?
We are starting, actually Aurora is being thorough for us, and she's been introducing to me a lot of people, and we're planning to have this program for 3 days, basically. And we are inviting some expats already to the committee, and also Mexicans, but we are starting, so it is going to be a lot of welcome
Mhm.
funds and help from,
Yes.
of course, society. Yes.
We
Yeah.
mentioned a little while ago about the relationship between Southern California and all of California in the United States, and talking with the Consulate General in Guadalajara the other day, she was advising me that in December of 2022 is the bicentennial of 200 years of the relationship of the United States and Mexico after all the wars and all the revolutions and everything. And there's going to be large celebrations and different type of events. Matter of fact, she was laughing, saying that a brewery, a distillery in Colima, are actually going to start brewing a special edition, and I don't know the name of it. It's going to be like bilingual beer, and they're going to have certain cans
Well,
saying, "Hey, this is the 200th anniversary. Here's how far we've gone. How much farther can we go?" There's so many great things happening between our countries. There's some negative things, and we all know about that, but there's a lot of great things. We want to improve on the great things, the better things, and make them better for the future, and the sister cities is one great way to do that.
yes. Michael, what I was thinking and planning with Angeles is that we have a lot of organizations here, and that they have different activities. So we can be part of all of the organizations. We can have a board of organizations.
Great.
And then we can help each other. You know, like if we have an exchange program of students, we can invite the committee or the organization that focus on education. We can get together with them and organize this type of connections, you know, from sister city programs, so that students can go and learn English to California and learn about the culture and the way of doing things in the United States. I was there when I was 15 years in a student exchange program. I went to the Ventura High School in Ventura, California for a semester, and
Wow.
it was very, I think that made a difference in my life.
I'm sure it did.
And the way to see things and the way to do things and all of that, it changes your, not your culture, but your way of doing things. And
So it opens your eyes, and when you're young, I'm talking 12, 13, 14, you know about where you live and all that, and you see things, and fortunately the kids today, teenagers, high school kids, they have the internet. They can go and, you know, when I was growing up, there were no computers. Actually, when I graduated from university, there were no computers. That's how long ago I've been. Now, something can happen, and in 3-5 seconds, the whole world can know about it.
yes,
So it's great, but there's nothing better than actually going there. You can read all you want about Rome, or you can Paris, or Istanbul, but actually going there and seeing the city, culture-wise, language-wise, food-wise, everything.
yes.
I know the university in Puerto Vallarta had quite a few students come from different parts of the world and stay for a year, and I think they probably do in Guadalajara also. And you know, now that we're going to have a campus here in Chapala, it'll even be better.
Exactly. See, that's one of the things that I wanted to thank the University of Guadalajara, especially the Rector General. His name is Ricardo Villanueva. He might be your relative, maybe. Ricardo Villanueva, thank you so much and also to our mayor for agreeing in establishing finally a university here, a Centro Universitario here in Chapala.
Well, I know they're going to start off with 2 or 3 different majors. One's going to be nursing, one's going to be
Gerontology,
caring and gerontology, taking care of older citizens, because there are a lot of us retired folks down here.
Yes.
And there's probably a void of enough nurses, enough daycares for senior citizens homes.
Right.
Because so many of them come here and they stay. They don't go back to the States. But we need more facilities.
That's right. I think that's one reason I'm so proud that Fernando is part of our committee and now become part of this family. Fernando works for the Los Angeles County School District.
Office of Education.
Office of Education, and they have programs right now that can kind of dovetail into what we're trying to do here with the university.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Part of our organization, it's made up by the community, and we want it to be for the community. So it's made by the community, it's made for the community. The great thing about bringing community together is you get different aspects of the community, right? Just like your community, so is our organization. You have doctors, you have educators, you have people from nonprofit organizations, and we combine all our efforts to be able to do things like that. So in particular, I work for the Office of Los Angeles County Office of Education, and also the Helpline Youth Counseling. And what we do is we do alcohol, tobacco, and other drug prevention for youth. So we teach them about the dangers, right, in this world where they're constantly being bombarded with try this, try that, including vaping, right? So that from that aspect. I also work with the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, and so with those two efforts, we could use those efforts to be able to bring students. We've already invited people from Tecate. We have a small orphanage in Tecate that we do some work with, and they have an orchestra made up of orphans and other students, and they'll be visiting us, and so we'll be hosting them for that.
Tecate is a very famous beer, but there's actually a city, and it's about 80 miles to the south and a little bit west of Mexicali, or I guess southeast of Tijuana, maybe 50, 60 miles.
Yes.
There's a great region there that makes not only great beer, but there's a lot of wine grown
Yes.
down there. Matter of fact,
Valle de
I'm going to be
Guadalupe.
there.
Yeah, the Valle de Guadalupe is a large wine region that a lot of people don't know. It's very beautiful.
It's over by
Ensenada.
Ensenada. That's where Fender guitars are made,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yep.
if you're a guitar
Yep.
fan.
See, that is why, since we have so many other organizations that focus on niños incapacitados, and now we have a Centro de Acopio, which is a recycling center, and the mayor again is very keen on supporting all of these organizations, and I think through the expertise and the way of doing things in California, we will be able to learn and make it easier for us to start this and have it up and running really soon, because we are very delayed in some of these actions. We have such a beautiful jewel here with us. We live in next to, on the shore of Lake Chapala, and we need to preserve our lake. We don't want to have it so trashy and stuff.
Mhm.
So we need to be responsible citizens and just work for our region.
Well, I think the Sister City program is fabulous. It's going to really, really help the area. Not only learn a lot about ourselves, but about the city in Southern California. And I really wish you all the best. Great opportunity to exchange a lot of different things. So thank you very much for taking your time. Is there anything in closing that y'all want to talk about?
I just want to say thank you for the invitation to Aurora and all of you Angeles. Thank you for bringing us here, allowing us to come and visit your town. For me, it's the first time. So I was ecstatic about coming in this
When's the
morning.
last time you saw a beautiful clear sky like
Exactly.
this?
Yeah. It's beautiful. We're looking at a pool on the very edge of the ocean.
Pickleball courts.
Exactly. There's no other better place to be than we are here today. But we wanted to thank you on behalf of the Pico Rivera Sister Cities Association. And we look forward to working with you and being able to visit, and for all of you to come visit us.
Well, next time I'm in Southern California, I'm going to knock on your door and say hello and, bring you all some gifts from one of the great artistic people that's here around the Lake Chapala Society, or Lake Chapala area.
Yes.
We've got some really, really talented art people that need to get their wares out, and that'd be a good place to go.
That is wonderful, and I know why you thought about Lake Chapala Society, because Neil James was the one who started.
That's true.
It's like the temple of artists.
It is the kind of the hub of the
Exactly.
community, and it has been for a long, long time. And it's hard for me to say Lake Chapala without saying Lake Chapala Society, because they're intermingled with every single thing that goes on down here.
Right.
From all the organizations to guest speakers to movie festivals to a little bit of everything.
Right.
You never know what they're going to have over there. Halloween festivals, Day of the Dead,
Yes.
celebrations.
Exactly.
So, Aurora, while we're here, I want to have you talk a little bit more about what's going on between the expats and the city of municipality of Chapala. We have the city of Chapala, but then we have the municipality, which all the northern lakeside villages such as, I don't know if Ahotopec is in it, but I know Ahihi, San Antonio,
San
several
Nicolas,
others, San Nicolas, which is out to the
Santa Cruz,
east.
Santa Cruz, San Nicolas, and Atotonilquillo, which is on the other side. It's a little further. It's like next to Atequiza, and
Okay.
Atequiza belongs to Iztahuacan de los Membrillos. But we have, actually, it's only one street that separates Atotonilquillo from Atequiza.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same, it's a different municipality.
It's kind of like Lake Tahoe. Part of Lake Tahoe is in Nevada and part of it's in California. And you can actually straddle the border, the state line. You know, one thing, I live in Iztahuacan de los Membrillos, and I learned the other day that there's an organization of people that grew up in Iztahuacan or have family there and have gone to the States. And they've been there for quite a few years, working and have, you know, families there and all that. But they still have grandparents or parents in Iztahuacan, and there's a whole community that give back. They send money, they send resources, they send all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Matter of fact, they're building a huge new soccer facility, basketball facility in Aguilita, which is a little suburb of Iztahuacan. It's about 3 blocks away. And all the money and everything's not coming out of our funds. It's coming from Americans and Mexicans that are living in the States sending the money back. It's kind of like almost a sister city program, but it's really cool. And I didn't even know that organization existed.
Yeah, we have one similar in our area. They're called the Ausentes de Chapala. Yeah, but the whole group of people.
Yeah, because if our little village has hundreds of people living up there, I'm sure Chapala, over the years, thousands
Yes.
have gone up there.
Definitely, definitely. And what the municipality is doing for the expats, well, I have to tell you that it's been wonderful experience to be part of this liaison expat community, because they do everything, and they need, a lot of times they need support from the authorities.
Mhm.
And in the past, they have been working alone, without, or a little bit independent. And, but now, you know, it's been more open. The government, the municipal government has been more open to listen to all the situations and all of that, and trying to solve the problems and work together, because the work the expat do is, or does, it's fantastic. You know, they take over a great deal of responsibility from the government. You know,
No, many of the charities are run by,
and we believe, you know,
foreign people.
our mayor believes that working together, government and society, everything can be done, everything can be achieved. And the example is the Tecnológico en the Conalep. The first time that he became mayor,
Mhm.
well, this was like a dream also, you know, to establish a university here. And that has been since other administrations. But I think the time was when Alejandro was the president for the first time, Alejandro Aguirre. And we raised funds with the expat community, and their names are there, the ones who were able to help and
Mhm.
achieve the goal that we wanted. Together, government and society, we can achieve anything.
Well, what Aurora's saying, or the current mayor, or
Yes.
they call it the municipal president, he was mayor 20 some odd years ago.
Yes, exactly.
For what, 3 or 6 years?
3 years.
3 years, but he was a young man, and it was his first adventure into
Experience.
politician. And then he went and did something else for many years, and now he's our new
Yes.
mayor, and he's been there, what, a year now?
A year.
If
exactly.
I'm right on the cycle.
Yes.
And it's a 3-year term, but can be re-elected for another 3
Now
years.
he can be
So
reelected.
possibly he'll be here for 6 years, and that'll give him enough time to make a lot of change and
Yes.
do things. And I think, not from my perspective, because I've only been here a couple of years, but from a lot of the other expats who've been here for many years, they say they've always had trouble working with the municipality and the politicians and the governments in Mexico. We have to remember that all of us expats are visitors in a foreign country, and we're not allowed to vote. We're not allowed to really be part of any boards and things like that. So that's why so many of them are doing their own organizations, like libraries, like charities, orphanages, whatever it might be. But then I think it could be a lot better for everybody if we had a closer working relationship, and people like you all
Yes.
and the new mayor that has a willingness to want to work with the expats, because there are experts in every form of life, every walk of life: doctors, medical, lawyers,
Oh, yes.
architecture,
Definitely.
agriculture, science. There's expats down here that have done a little bit of anything.
Yes.
And if we can get a government that'll listen to some of us, and we can respond with our knowledge, our education, our expertise, our finances,
Yes.
our things in the government of the United States that we can bring down here, it's going to be better for everybody.
Definitely. And we need to follow up all the procedures that we have to do.
Everything has to be
in
done
order-
right. But
Exactly.
it sounds like this mayor wants to do things and
Yes.
opening the doors for everybody. And I think that'll make a lot of people happy.
Yes, yes, I'm sure. Sometimes, he's such a busy young man, very busy, that we would like every day to have the doors open and walk in and say, Presidente, we need this and that and that. But
They're
But-
busy guys. I know in our little village, Israel, he's over a huge area.
yes,
I mean, it's a big municipality that people just don't realize how big it is.
yes.
And
No.
I'm sure the
He's
Chapala
very
one's
busy.
even larger.
Yes, he's very busy and he's always trying to do things that can create a big impact in our community.
Well, I know was very much involved in bringing the University of Guadalajara to open up a campus here,
Yes.
which they announced a week ago or so.
Right.
What other projects I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but is there any other projects right now that you all are working on?
Yes, very important for the
Can you talk
community.
about any of them, or are they
No,
all
not
top
yet.
secret? Okay.
But you will have the privilege to have the first information
Great.
when they are getting ready to sign. for
Okay.
This is something.
Well, invite
really
me to all the
exciting.
little events, and maybe we can, bring my recorder, and we can record it for the radio, University of
That's
Guadalajara Radio.
fantastic. Great, we can do that so that you can have the premises.
Yes.
I know he's working on Main Street. He's getting the
Yeah.
Main
You know
Street.
what? That is an excellent project because every 3 years, the administrations will have to change the bricks that were adoquin
Mm-hmm.
in the street because it moves so easy. And now it's concrete.
It's gonna be concrete, they're digging down and putting the
Yes.
sub base and then concrete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, when he gets the Main Street done, everything, have him work on the intersection in front of Walmart. A rotunda would
Yes.
work so nice there.
Yes, yes. No, and not only that, you know what?
I'm giving my 2 cents
We
worth
need-
here, but
Yes, that's another project. that
a
we
rotunda
have.
would be great because they re-engineered, redesigned the intersection, getting in and out of Walmart and those two part to east or west going to Chapala or IE, and it's kind of
Yes.
confusing right now.
Right. It
And
is.
a rotunda would work really,
Dangerous.
really well right there, and very dangerous.
Very dangerous. So that's another thing that I live in Ajijic, so I see the Ajijic village with the streets so devastated. And we are already planning to start working on the worst ones, like Revolucion and all of those streets that go up.
And
to
they're
here.
very, very narrow. I mean, it gives it a quaintness. There's a lot of people like it because it's old Mexico, and they come here because they don't want to live in Las Vegas anymore. They want to come down here and experience
Yes.
Mexico.
But we have to face it. We cannot ride any more horses on the street for our transportation.
You can't.
Well.
How about the
for-
donkeys
for
that are bringing
fun-
stuff up and down the
For fun,
street?
you can do it, but a donkey is too slow sometimes, and the time, we kind of rush a little bit to come here on time.
That's
Because
true.
of the streets being repaired.
Yeah, there is a
which
nice
is
detour there.
wonderful.
Some more detour signs going this way and that way might be
Yes.
helpful, you might tell him.
But that is a sign that soon we will have better roads, better streets.
That's right.
Better everything,
Just takes,
yes.
Rome wasn't built in a day,
We have
neither
to
was,
suffer a
neither will be
little bit.
Chapala.
Yeah, we have to suffer a little bit for a good future.
That's
Okay,
true.
so, yes, I will bring you the premises when that happens.
Okay. Can you let the cat out of the bag? Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Well, in general, we started before this support from the government, David and a lot of friends that he has, like Gilberto, that's it. They came to see what the needs we have in the area, which are quite big ones. So, like I said, a lot of people is asking me how they can help. We're trying to do our best to organize to constitute our association, but once we are there, then we are going to start communicating and organizing more, because actually some new members who are going to meet or to face on Sunday for the first time. So
Great.
we are just starting, yes. I am learning as well, and how to do it, because I've always been like a guest for a day for Paris, but it's been very interesting.
I'll tell you one project it's taking off, and there's a group in the United States called the International Firefighters Training Association, and they've already contacted Alejandro about having one of their representatives come, and they will take an inventory of the needs of some of the smaller pueblos here in the municipality, and then go back and discuss and organize a way in which they can come back and provide equipment, like either to the Red Cross or other groups that are trying to help, or they need the assistance, or if the people need assistance of firefighters, firefighting equipment, security equipment. Okay? So that's going on right now, and I'll tell you one reason why it's going to be successful. It's because Chapala has a citizens committee, and that's how they work. They want to work with citizens. They don't want to bring stuff and see it go into the pockets of the politicians, because they know what goes on. They want to work directly with a group like Citizens Committee, like we're trying to build it.
Well, I had a conversation with a man named John Kelly that you may
Oh,
know.
yes, John.
And he is a Canadian, and he is very much involved in bringing used fire equipment, police equipment, uniforms, all types of things from Canada to Mexico. And they've been successful a little bit. But he told me they have 3 containers right now, 2 in Ottawa and 1 other container full of equipment and everything that they're paying storage on right now, because they're having a little trouble getting it across the border. So that's, I told him, well, maybe we can work with the United States consulate and also the Mexican consulate, or the municipalities, the government. I guess that'd be federal immigration and
Yes,
to
it's
bring it
federal.
in customs. So they've got equipment to bring down here to this area,
But you know
but they're
what?
having a little bit of trouble getting it down.
Yes, Michael, that is exactly what we can save a lot of red tape if we establish a sister city program with a city who's donating from Canada. I mean,
Perfect.
we can be
Yeah.
sister
The
city.
bridge.
We can have family quote unquote throughout the world.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
We can have this program spread throughout the world, and I think that will save a lot of red tape.
Well, you're off to a great start with our first city. Thank you very much for doing that and setting everything up, and thank you for being a sister city to Chapala, and everybody will look forward to a great future.
And I had the pleasure, I want to tell you that I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Guardado when over at the place when we met yesterday or the day before
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I was having lunch with Dr. Cortez,
Yes.
Marco Antonio Cortez Gradado,
Marco
the
Antonio.
former general rector of the university, and
Yes.
Aurora came in. We had just been talking about her and telling her about, you know, the great things she talked about the first time that she was going to be on the show again, and she just walked in the restaurant and got to meet Dr. Cortez, and so
Yes, so it was.
he's a great guy.
It was a great pleasure of meeting Dr. Cortez Guardado, and I hope to see him more often around here so that we can.
Well, with the campus getting started over here, I'm sure he'll become a little bit more.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Michael, again for all this wonderful interview.
What else haven't we talked about that y'all want? I'm going to open up the mic and just let you talk about whatever. Your house is another show, okay? But anything with the family that we're building here with the sister cities or the municipal government.
Yes.
It's kind of like a two-edged sword today.
You know, I think he's on the way to Mexico City right now, so that is why he couldn't come.
Our mayor,
The mayor.
well, I still want to have an interview with him
Yes,
sooner or
yes,
later.
I will bring him over. I
Okay.
promise you. Okay.
Well, just tell him. No, never mind. Tell him I'm anxious to see him, visit with you.
Yes.
When he was a candidate for, to run for mayor, he invited me up to his house up here someplace. And we sat and we talked about the establishment.
Mhm.
And he gave me full support.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I think somebody tried to give me a T-shirt with his picture on it or something, but it wasn't quite big enough. So I had to turn it down and thought, well, I've only got like 800 shirts, so someone else needs a shirt. Give it to them.
Well, he's trying to do as much as he can for our community, and that's what I can tell you. You know, sometimes using his own funds, his own, como se dice, the items that he has, like for example, we are going to have a tour in different places, and we're having one of his vehicles.
Great.
So,
Well, I'm looking forward to his next 2 years and possibly, if everything goes right, another 3 years after that, and watching everything change for the better.
yes, I hope so. But again, my slogan is true. If we work together, government and society, regardless political parties or anything, we can be a good part of a change. So,
We look forward to the future.
Very good. Thank you.
Anything else?
Well, just thank you for the invitation, and I think we are going to be in touch with you so we can advertise the events that we are already thinking in the maybe February.
yes.
Is there a web page or a Facebook page or somewhere they can go to kind of keep tabs of what's going on?
I need to build that.
Okay.
Yes, we're just beginning, but we will have that. Like an expat liaison, I don't have that because I don't have the time to be checking all the media. I get information from emails, WhatsApp, Telegram, and all of that. And it's very tough for one person. I was trying to have more people involved in my team, you know, but it's
Well,
only.
you can be involved. Too much information these days.
Yes.
That's why I don't have a cell phone. 8 years I haven't had a cell phone. People think I'm crazy. My grandchildren especially. They don't think you can live without a cell phone. I said,
Well,
yes, you can.
it's a very important tool,
Well, not for me. I don't need one.
and very soon that will be your driver, you know, because you can call your car on your cellular.
You can?
You will be able to do that.
Not my car. My car's a 1998
You know,
BMW. Doesn't even have seatbelts.
In the past, you used to call with a whistle, the horse or whatever.
My wife still does that.
Now it will be with
get
the
over it.
cellular.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for taking your time to come over here and educate everybody about the Sister City program. And we look forward to having you back. I'm sure you'll be back here before long. Bring some of your cohorts down here and let them see what a beautiful life we live down here and how beautiful the area is. And we appreciate your time and information.
Thank
Michael,
you.
we thank you also. Thank you for the invitation.
See you again, I promise. Thank you, sir. Ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
Aurora, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Okay, that's another chapter of Expat Conversation with Michael Nolen through the University of Guadalajara Institute of Innovation, Investigation, and Governance. I want to say thank you for tuning in, and if you have any questions that we didn't answer or any information you want to give us, you can contact me through the university at my radio Gmail, which is 104.3 wakeupshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you again.
Happy trail.